All right, well, we are just 1 week out from President Trump's 100th day in office. Can you believe that? The commander-in-chief now blasting the media, though, and the milestone tweeting this yesterday. No matter how much I accomplished during the ridiculous standard of the first 100 days, and it has been a lot, including Supreme Court justice, media will kill. So should there be so much hype around a president's first 100 days in office? Joining us now to debate it, Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor Richard Fowler and Guy Benson, political editor for townhall.com, and, of course, a Fox News contributor. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. All right, Guy, does the president have a point here to say, look, you look back on the past 100 days, I haven't received fair coverage?
Yeah, I think, the media is mostly against Donald Trump. I think that's pretty clear. And to some extent, the first 100 days metric is sort of an invention. The issue is he kind of embraced that invention and that standard himself when he got elected and talked about this ambitious initial agenda, some of which he has not gotten around to. But I think overall, from a conservative's perspective, the #1 accomplishment for this president is the Supreme Court pick, Neil Gorsuch, who now is on the court with rumors that there's another vacancy coming possibly as soon as this summer. If he gets 2 conservatives on there, I mean, his legacy is cemented for decades. Yeah,
a lot of people that I've spoken to around the country, Richard, said the #1 issue for me was the Supreme Court and putting someone in place. That is something that he has done, whether you agree with him or not. Also, I believe 25 executive orders in these first, 92, 93 days.
That is right. I mean, I think you got to give the president credit, and you got to give Republicans credit for changing the rules to make sure they got Neil Gorsuch on. But that is his only major accomplishment. I think Guy is right on the point that, the first 100 days was a creation by FDR, when that was in an era when you could send a bill to Congress Monday morning and sign it by Monday night. That's not the Washington that we're in today. And sadly, Donald Trump took on this mantra and then sort of said, here's all the things we're going to get done. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. We're going to get infrastructure. We're going to get tax reform. And he has not been able to work with the building behind me to get that done. And so that is why his first 100 days has been a failure. Not to mention the fact that a lot of his cabinet positions, sub-cabinet level, are empty. The Justice Department is empty. The Department of Education is empty. The Department of Energy is empty. We can go on and on and on and on and on. So I think that has less to do with the media and more to do with Donald Trump's management style.
Well, you would have critics to say to that, probably, Guy. You have, members in Congress that their main mission before he was even officially brought in as president, that were out to get him. They want to get him impeached. They want to make sure that he gets nothing done. What do you say about these first 100 days? How do you judge them?
Well, I think the #1 thing for me, as I said, was the Supreme Court pick. But look, the Republicans control both houses of Congress at this point. So
right. If they're going to get anything done, it's going to be now, right?
Right. I mean, hey, you've been arguing for years now. We need all 3 of these things. And the American people said, OK, you've got them. And now it's time for results on Obamacare, on tax reform, probably in that order. And look, it's not like the ball has been completely dropped on these things. There's progress being made from what we understand on health care. But a lot of voters are keeping a very close eye on what's happening on Capitol Hill. And the president and the vice president, I think, have been very active in trying to get that ball rolling and still the momentum continuing. So the jury's out.
Richard, where are some areas, if any, that you think both parties can work together? Because that's what the American people are wanting right now. They want Washington to start doing work for them, to make their lives better. Where do you see any sort of common ground coming together?
Well, here's the thing, and this is the mistake I think Donald Trump made in his first, I guess we're not going to say his first 100 days next week, right, is he should have went for something that was going to get Democrats on board at the beginning. And I think the winner would have been infrastructure reform, right, or funding infrastructure. Democrats have, for the past 8 years of the Obama presidency, really talked about how we fund infrastructure, how we fix our nation's airports, how we fix our nation's bridges, how we bring high-speed rail to America. Donald Trump agrees with them on that particular point. Sadly, they went for health care first, and they tried to get it done in 17 days, and they failed. Yeah. And so now the political capital is running out on Capitol Hill.
Problem, though, Guy, is, as I mentioned earlier, you've got a number of Democrats that really are in resistant mode. Like, they don't want the president to get anything passed, even if he might bring up something that they somewhat agree with. It seems like no matter what, you have some members in Congress that are not willing to budge.
Yeah, and I don't know how that plays politically. If you get elected as a Republican and the first thing that you do is spend $1 trillion on infrastructure. I know he talked about it, but the priorities for the Republican base, and that's something that they've been running on as a party for multiple cycles, is repealing and replacing Obamacare. Tax reform has been a goal for decades. I understand the prioritization of those 2 issues.
Well, we're hearing that a rollout of tax reform may be to come this week as soon as Wednesday, so we will wait anxiously on that. Guy Benson, Richard Fowler, good to have you both here this morning.
Good to be
debate.
here, Abby.
Appreciate that.